I didn't see you there. Would you guys like to set sail on this ocean of flavor with me? I'll be your captain. I'm Steve Harrington.
And I'm Collin.
And I'm Doug, filling in for Whitney, who's on break. And this is Scoops Ahoy, a Stranger Things podcast where we go week by week, chapter by chapter, taking a look at every episode of Stranger Things. We are still in the deep, dark void, waiting for season 5. And this time, the next 3 times actually, we're revealing our rankings of every episode of our favorite show, seasons 1 through 4.
That's right. Yeah, we always talk about going chapter by chapter. We really are. We're going to go chapter by chapter. Yeah, I have my list. Doug has his. We will go through and see where everything is shaken out once the dust settles. This episode, we're going to be tackling the bottom of the barrel, the absolute worst episodes of the show, just the terrible, awful. No, I mean, good Lord. It's, I always say it's like, least favorite child or least favorite flavor of ice cream. They're all good with a couple exceptions. So,
Yes.
just the bottom 14 episodes that, didn't work as well as other episodes, essentially. So, I mean, there's always good and not as good. So we're going to do that. We, of course, love all of our little baby chapters.
Of course.
But sure, some a little bit more than others. So let's get going on this. And I guess we should start kind of right off the bat talking about, well, how I went through the list, and then you can talk about how you went through the list. Because,
Sure.
you could say it was, cinematically a much better episode, or it is an episode that you have rewatched the most because it's so interesting or fun and enjoyable or scary or, whatever. So I think when I was doing this list, I tried, and it was really hard a lot of times. I'm thinking of, what was the episode? There was one I was just thinking of as we were going to start recording. Oh, nope, not that one. Where is it? I'm getting there. It was one of the ones in season 3, and it was the one where, oh shoot, I had it. I'm getting there. It was season 3. Yes, The Case of the Missing Lifeguard. Okay, so this is the one where Eleven is spying on the boys in the deep dark void, and then the whole stuff with Billy and Heather and Hopper getting beaten up, which is not, and then Heather and Billy kind of knock out Heather's parents, at the end, American Pie and all that.
Yes.
Which I didn't really love in the episode, but I really loved the moment in the episode when Robin figures out the code, when she goes into the middle of the food court and looks around and sees everything. So, do I like that episode more just because of that Robin thing, or do I have to take the episode as a whole? And even though there might be one, that kind of thing, one little moment,
Yes.
So I think what I tried to do was overall, is it an episode that I liked?
Yeah.
Nothing to do with how it was filmed or, necessarily the script or the performances. It was just the story that was encapsulated in that one chapter. Do I enjoy that part of the story more than other parts of the story? So that's kind of where I came from when I did it, I guess. So how did you look at it?
Same. I was a bit intimidated when I sat down to rank all of them, and it ended up taking me about 7 minutes. It was pretty easy.
Yeah.
What I did, I strictly went off my gut at first. It was very simple. I went through the entire list of episodes and basically targeted what I thought was a top 10 episode worthy.
Right.
I didn't necessarily count. So I think I ended up flagging maybe 12 episodes that I thought were top 10 worthy.
Yep.
Then sort of filled in from there, like middle tier, which episodes are still good that I wouldn't necessarily think. And then lo and behold, I sort of found myself in the 20s, and I was like, oh, then it got a little harder. I was like,
Right.
which episodes are less boring?
Kill your darlings.
But,
Yep.
It was fun. When I made mine, I did a little review of the sort of analytics of it all, so to speak. And I was more so just apprehensive that I would be all over the place. But as I crunched some numbers and I looked at, which episodes from which season and what they averaged out, it fell into place with where I sort of ranked the seasons myself.
Hmm.
And then, I definitely saw some patterns. You know, early episodes are more on the lower end, and end episodes are very high, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, like
But
early in the
this is
season
just
versus later. Like so, yeah, like
early
yeah,
within the season. Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. There are some fun exceptions here and there, and it was fun to see the average rank, and at least in mine, of the episode number in the season. Like sevens were very high, except for one notorious episode seven.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No, I found that too. I did.
yeah,
I did the same thing.
yeah,
I actually went through and I looked at both of our lists and kind of compared them. And so, yeah, chapter ones across all four seasons, we both had two chapter ones in the bottom 14. So that's what we're doing in this episode is the bottom 14. So episodes 21 to 34. So those, the last, the lower 14 episodes. So chapter ones, we both had two chapter ones. Chapter twos, you had four, I had three. Chapter threes, you had three, I had three. Chapter fours, you had one, I had two. Chapter fives, you had three, I had two. And I know this is just a lot of numbers, but chapter six, you had one, I had none. We both had one chapter seven, and neither of us had any chapter eights or chapter nines in our bottom
yeah,
14.
yeah.
So, yeah, it seemed like chapter two and three and five were generally
Hmm.
for us. And then I also looked at it season by season to see how many from each season we picked in the bottom 14. So from season one, we both had two episodes from season one. I'll come back to season two. Season three, we both had, no, you had four, I had three. And season four, you had three and I had three. But season two, you had five and I had six. So I had two from season one, six from season two out of nine,
Yeah.
right? Three from season eight and three from season nine, and you had two from season one, five from season two, four from season three, and three from season four. So I mean, it's very, yeah, it's very obvious, and not at all scientific, but I mean, good Lord, doesn't need to be. You had five episodes from season two in your bottom 14. Out of the 14 worst episodes, you had five. I had six of the 14 episodes were from season two.
Yeah, we are
Yeah,
not big on season two, apparently.
no, but
But
and I
the rest of the
remember.
world loves season two, according to that
And I
poll
and
a
I love
couple.
it too. I really do like season two, but
Yeah, I
it's
like
just
it
kind
too.
of it's just I guess I didn't like it as much as I liked other other seasons. I don't know. And yeah, what you were saying before too about the earlier in the season, usually episodes like I said 3, 4, and 5 for some reason we seem to pick more of those, and we again had no eights and no nines in any of our bottom 14. So it
Yeah,
was also interesting that in our lists, I thought in the bottom 14, we both had 12 of the same 14 episodes,
yeah.
not in the same place, but you had 12 and I had 12 of the same in the bottom
Hmm.
14. So there were only two on my side and two on your side that we didn't agree on in the bottom 14, which is kind of good too. So are you ready to
Yeah.
get going and we'll get into this?
I am ready.
Okay, actually, first, why don't you talk about because we're gonna have fun with this. We got some ground rules, and I mean, we're essentially what we're doing is we're doing a fantasy draft, I guess, right, of our episodes. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna go back and forth. I'm gonna say, what I think is, the worst episode. You can agree, disagree, but let's talk a little bit about the vetoes and all that kind of stuff. So
All right, ground rules. So I'm taking evens, you're taking odds. So what we're going to have are some spells in our back pocket. We are each going to have the ability in each of our three episodes here to cast a protection spell and a charm spell.
okay,
Protection spell will save the episode until next episode for us.
okay,
And the charm spell, if we invoke it, will jump that pick up 5 spots and become the person who casts the spell's pick later on. So Colin, let's say you were to pick the Lost Sister for 34,
Yep.
and I say, no, I just happen to love the Lost Sister today because I find it whimsical and
Sure you
dreamy.
do. Sure you do. Yeah.
That would become my pick in a later round. That would jump it up 5 spots to number 29.
Okay.
Follow?
Yes. So charm is 5 spots. Protection is jumping a whole round.
Save it for a month.
Okay. So let's see. I'm just going to write this down just so I have it. So charm is +5. Like I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons. Let's see.
Yeah.
And protection is next round. Okay. So now I got to look and see. I don't even know. I don't think I have any in the bottom 14 that were so wildly out of place that I wanted you to jump it up. But let me see.
Well, maybe I'll get crazy and I'll change my list.
Yeah, let me see if I have. Oh, that's one.
Oh yeah, you got some.
Yeah. Okay. So there's one I might pull up. But yeah, we were actually pretty close. I mean, by and large. I mean, we had a like I'd say
Yeah.
two or three episodes each that we were like way off, like more than like 8 or 9 points off. But by and large, we were within 3, 4, 5 points of each other, which is kind of crazy. But I dig
Yeah,
it.
well,
So
we're both
right.
old and nerds.
Right. Okay, so let's go and we're gonna play this out and we'll see how this goes. So bear with us because we're gonna have some fun with this and I figured I'd bring an old friend along for the ride. So let's get going.
Kisses coast to coast, American Top 40, number 34.
All right, I'll
You have evens.
I'll run the medal ceremony for us. It's just
Right.
a formality.
Right.
Number 34, the Lost Sister. Do we need to discuss the Lost Sister at
No,
all?
I didn't even write it in. It was just kind of a given. So we've been over the Lost Sister again. Don't hate the Lost Sister. Have some issues with it, but it's part of our show and we love our show. So
Oh, you're too nice, Colin. I hate it.
I know you do.
The only good part about that episode is that needle drop at the end. It's one of the tops. Whisper to a Scream.
Oh,
Ooh, it's
absolutely.
so good.
Yeah. Ding, ding,
Although,
ding,
you know
ding.
what? I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, actually, maybe I gotta rescind that because they they managed to hit that cliche right at the end too, right? Like she's on the train, and the
Right.
old lady goes, "Where are you going?"
I'm going
Oh,
home. Right. I'm going to see my friends. I'm going
wow, what a
home.
cherry
Right.
on top. All right, Lost Sister 34.
And actually, I mean, I do like the scene with who was it? Pruitt Taylor Vince, the guy that they go see. They're going to go kill him in his house, and
That
he's
is a powerful scene,
pictures.
yes.
It's a good scene, but yeah,
It is.
the whole Axel and Callie
Oh,
of it all is
Axel.
just right.
Eek.
Okay, so we both agree on Lost Sister. Now I had, let's see,
33 big hits to go as the countdown continues. The hits from coast to coast.
my number 33, I had The Nina Project, which is episode 5 of season 4. So this is Elle's real first memories of the friendly orderly in the Rainbow Room. Murray and Joyce are on the plane with Yuri, and he does the karate moves, and then the plane crashes. This is coming out of the Dear Billy episode. So the Cali boys in the pizza van bury Harmon in the desert, and they get the pen with the phone number.
Mhm.
Hopper unloads his whole Agent Orange history and Sarah history on Enzo in the jail cell. And then Patrick gets snapped by Vecna. And then also Elle arrives at the Nina Project and sees Brenner. So that's the Nina Project. Again, I don't really hate the episode. It just feels like a lot of it was a lot of talking. You think of the whole scene, like I just mentioned, with Hopper and Enzo in the jail cell. I mean, it's a long scene. It's interesting information. It is given well, but it's just a lot of talking. There's a lot of stuff with, as I mentioned, the Cali boys. I mean, you think of that scene when they're all sitting around and Mike's on top of the car and they're trying to figure out the pen and they're, burying the body and that whole thing. I mean, the only real drama that happens in the episode is Patrick getting snapped after they find Eddie in the boathouse. And am I really supposed to care about Patrick and, be interested in it? So I don't know.
Oh,
It
poor
was just,
Patrick.
I know. I mean, not that there's any more reason. I mean, I cared more about Chrissy dying at the end of one episode than Patrick dying after 5 episodes. And nothing against
Yeah.
it's not the actor's fault. They didn't do a whole lot to develop his character other than him to be an asshole schmuck who's out, helping hunt down Eddie. So
Yeah, that
I
one
don't
was a
know.
little arbitrary, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just kind of,
Kill that guy.
yeah, right. So again, I mean, it's not a terrible episode. It's just there are a lot more episodes that are far better written, acted, and keep my interest more than this show. So, what say you?
Sure.
The Nina Project.
Well, right off the bat, I'm invoking my spell. I'm gonna charm this one.
Okay.
I don't disagree that this Nina Project episode definitely belongs in the bottom. But I had it close to 20. I think I had this one at 22 in my list. But
Okay. Yeah, so I had 33, you're
a
at
bit of
22, so we're
disparity.
11
So I'm
off
going to
that.
shoot
Okay.
this one up.
Okay.
I dig this episode at least a little bit. I think I mentioned a couple months ago that the end where Patrick dies was really got my attention because I thought it was going to actually prove that Eddie was not the mass murderer.
Right.
But I also, it's pretty significant that Brenner comes back in this episode.
It is. It
It's
is.
something. And I also do. I like the start of 11 entering into the project, and it's all real creepy and things like that.
Yep.
With that repetition. Somebody's a sleepyhead today. All
Right.
that jazz, and then I thought the very end was pretty trippy, right? Like she realizes that she's got to make a deal with the devil
Yep.
and calls Brenner Papa again, takes his hand,
Right.
walks on back down the hall. So
Right.
that's
And
pretty creepy.
I mean, I did like the plane crash and the whole bit with Murray
Sure.
and Joyce. It's fun too. I mean, it's kind of that whole scene
Definitely.
with Yuri and the karate moves and all that kind of stuff and the
You
gun
do
sliding
great.
down the
I like Joyce
so-
too. Like, this isn't that hard.
right.
Cut the ropes, kick his ass with the karate, and we'll land the plane.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna move. So Nina Project will now be number 28, right? That's what we're doing.
There we go. Yes, slot
Okay.
it in. So you get to do the pick over.
Okay. Let's see. My next one that I had was coming in.
Number 32.
No, number 32 was the Mallrats, which is episode 2 of season 3. So this is Billy at night in front of his car, seeing himself in the upside down on the road. He kind of sees the, doppelganger of himself, and then he kidnaps Heather. Nancy and Jonathan meet with Mrs. Driscoll for the first time, the kindly
Yeah.
old, rat lady. The bright moment that, depending on how I'm feeling, is either kind of cheesy or really fun, depending really on what mood I'm in, is Elle and Max shopping to Material Girl in the mall, which
Yeah.
is kind of fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
And then Elle, of course, dumps Mike's ass, which is also fun. We do have a Mr. Clark sighting in this episode. This is when Joyce goes and talks with Mr. Clark about the magnets on her fridge and everything. And we're backtracking a little bit from where I was just talking about the Robin episode when she finds the code. This is when they first hear the code. The Scoops Troop first hears the code for the full code for the first time. And it's also the episode where Hopper gets stood up by Joyce at Enzo's and has his Chianti and storms out drunk out of the restaurant. So that was my number 32. What
Well,
say
that's our
ye?
33.
33. So
I
it would
accept.
be 33. Okay, you accept
I think that's a
Mallrats'
good pick. It's
okay.
yeah, for sure.
All right, that will do that. And then so
Number 32.
we're doing number 32, and I've already played the music for that. So you're on number 32. What do you got?
Number 32. Okay,
Yeah.
for you. All right. My lowest ranking episode besides The Lost Sister, I actually committed some serious heresy here.
I
And
couldn't believe it when I saw this.
I mean, the episode's just named after her. It's not all
So
about her, but
the namesake episode, and oh my goodness.
episode 1, season 2, Mad Max. Not much happens in this episode at all. I mean, I'm down on season 2, right? Like, and season 2 or episode 1 of season 2 is really just all about, oh, everyone's back. Let's see them doing the things that we missed from
Yeah.
season 1, and oh, we'll put them in the arcade. Ah, I'm being too negative.
Well, I
It
mean,
was fun, but
when one of the highlights of the episode is Steve and Nancy having KFC with the Hollands,
yes,
that's
yeah,
not doesn't bode
yeah,
well for the episode. I do like the arcade stuff. I've talked a lot about that
I do
and
like it too.
how
Yes,
that's really fun. But this is also, as you recall, our first introduction to the world of Cali and the whole Pittsburgh crew.
yeah,
I mean, the whole season starts with this random, vignette of Callie and the crew driving through Pittsburgh and the whole police cars and the bridge and the whole, that whole thing.
hmm
But yeah, otherwise it's really just, hey, meet the new faces. Here's Bob
yeah.
Newby, here's Billy, here's Max. And by the way, Barb's still dead and nobody knows why, and Hopper is hiding Elle in his cabin. So,
Yeah, I mean, that was
yeah,
probably the most
yeah,
exciting point of the episode. Elle walks out at the end and has a
yeah.
nice little mop top, and
Okay.
everyone's happy.
Yeah. Okay, so I can go for that. I had Mad Max at 26. You had it at 32, so I think I'm good keeping it at 32. I'm
Cool.
not going to use one of my spells yet. I gotta think a little bit about what I do want to do. So, okay, so we are up to
Number 31.
all right. Let's see, number 31. So my lowest one that I have left is the Polywog, which is episode 3 of season 2. So this is obviously when Dustin has rescued Dart from the trash can and puts him in his terrarium.
hmm
Bob Newby tells Will the story about Mr. Baldo the clown when they're driving to school one morning. Dart gets loose in the school. The whole pumpkin conspiracy kind of starts getting introduced, and then it ends with the shadow monster getting Will in the, see it out
Yeah.
in the playground. Um, Again, I don't really mind this episode. I did like the bit with the shadow monster and Will at the end. I do love Bob Newby and all he stands for, but it just seems like kind of it's the second episode of the second season. It's still, and I don't think the Duffers had kind of found their rhythm yet of kind of just jumping right into it. They kind of have to, they did a lot of slow burning to kind of, welcome back to Stranger Things. Let's introduce new characters in this episode, and now let's get the characters moving this direction in the second episode. And
Yeah.
then finally, by the third or fourth episode, shit starts happening. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I had the Polywog at number 31, which is right where we are right now. So that works out. What say ye?
Proof. I
Okay.
am not a fan of Dart, nor Dustin's antics,
Yep.
smuggling him about.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, season 2, God, this has turned into like a season 2 rant. I really feel like they were trying to replicate the tension that we had from the mystery box nature of season 1, and
Right.
it just wasn't the same, right? Like, all right, we know what's going on. What are we up against here? Come on.
Right.
We're pumpkins are melting and we have a slug.
Okay. So we are now up to
And the countdown rolls on. Casey's Coast to Coast. American Top 40. Number 30.
All right. Oh, my pick at number 30. I am going to. Ooh.
Ooh, he's calling an audible. He's calling an audible.
For this, I remember for the spirit of camaraderie, I'm gonna switch. I'm not gonna go to my lowest pick quite yet.
Okay.
I'm going up one, and I'm gonna say we're just gonna finish the uh, season two hate mail,
Right.
and I'm gonna pick season two, episode two, Trick or Treat Freak.
Yep.
So we get a little bit more of Elle in the woods. She eats a squirrel. Billy almost runs over the boys, flying down the street.
Yep.
That just seemed psychotic,
Right.
completely unnecessary. Bob enjoys dancing. Nancy and Steve hit Tina's party. The party's kind of fun, but
It is, yeah. And I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that's the one where it
Yeah.
has like it's the minute-long tracking shot as they kind of walk into the party and that whole thing. Yep.
yeah. And then the kids are trick or treating, and that's kind of a drag too because Mike is all crabby.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
just
and then
he's like, Max ruined Halloween, and I wanted to go into that. Like, no, you and your bad energy are ruining Halloween.
exactly.
You
Yep.
turd.
Yep.
Cheer up.
Right. And yeah, so and that we're actually backing up an episode. This is leading right into the episode we just picked. So this is the one where Dustin opens his trash can and
Yes.
we don't see that it start yet, but
Yes. At least we had the
So-
Ghostbusters in that one. That was
Right.
I like that. That was funny.
yeah. So all right, I actually
Winston, he's not even funny. He's not a scientist.
you had it at 31, I had it at 30. So
Cool.
yeah, we'll keep it right there. So I'm good with that.
Nice.
All right.
Number 29.
Okay, coming in at number 29 on my chart was episode 5 of season 2. Boy, we are really season 2 heavy so far, right? What do we got? 2-7, 2-3, 2-2, 2-1, and now I'm suggesting 2-5. So of our bottom 6 episodes, 5 of them are from season 2 so far, depending how this one goes.
We have a real
Um,
bias.
Right. Okay, so I'm gonna pick Dig Dug, which is episode 5 of season 2. And this is one that, like I was mentioning with the Robin finding the code one earlier, this is the episode where we get the whole thing with the 450 Rainbow Breathe thing with Terry Ives, and that whole thing comes to light, which is kind of fun and new and different. But that's about it that happens in this episode. It's Hopper wandering in the tunnels. 11 goes and hitchhikes to Terry's. Dustin is dealing with Dart growing up, and so he's trapped him in the cellar. It's that really long scene that kind of fizzles out between Lucas and Max, where Lucas tells Max everything and she doesn't believe him and kind of walks out. Nancy and Jonathan meet Murray for the first time. And eventually, Bob and Joyce do rescue Hopper, from the tunnels, and then Will has his convulsions on the ground in the pumpkin patch. But I don't know. It was just kind of I didn't hate it. It was just kind of I tend to, when I watch every episode all the way through in order. I don't really skip over them, but
Yeah.
I might skip this one just because I know it. And, why would I want to just sit through it again? Because other than the 450 Rainbow Breathe, I mean, is there, anything that I'm really missing? So that's my thought.
Well, I used up my charm spell already, so I can't bump this one. But I would have bumped it a little higher. I like them getting Hopper out of the tunnel and them solving the puzzle with the drawings.
Yeah.
And yeah, it could be here.
Yeah, you're good with
Right.
it? I was
I'm
gonna say
good.
I could bump it up a couple notches if you
No,
really
no,
wanted
no. It's not worth defending.
to. Okay. All right.
It's got a
we'll
good
do-
end. It's got a good end. The stuff at Mama's house gets a little long.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. And really that storyline, that's kind of creeping into Lost Sister territory. So it's kind of it's kind of on the off ramp
I see.
to get to Lost Sister. So we're kind of
I
headed
gotcha.
that kind of thing. So Okay, so Dig Dug will be number 29. We already have Nina Project because of your charm spell is number 28, which brings us to
Number 27.
okay. So this is I guess this is mine again because you had Nina Project, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna not pick one from season 2. I know, right?
Hey.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to season 3, episode 3, The Case of the Missing Lifeguard,
Yeah.
which is what we talked about it. Did we talk about it already or not? But 11 is this
That
is
was
the one I
off
was
air.
mentioning. Yeah, with Robin
Yeah.
figuring out the code. So 11 spies
Yeah.
on the boys, all the Billy and Heather stuff, and they bonk her parents. Hopper gets the crap kicked out of him when they go back to the lab, and then Robin figures out the code. So again, kind of the third episode, we're still ramping up the story. We haven't really gotten to the meat of anything yet. And in all fairness, I'm not really a big fan of the whole Billy Heather Holloway's storyline and the the rat goo and all that kind of stuff anyway. So I tended to I think a lot of those episodes, the mid season 3 episodes, I wasn't really a huge fan of. So
Mm,
um like the Flayed and I can't remember the other
yeah.
ones. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
I didn't really dig on that American Pie and Needle drop either. Seems
yeah,
pretty like, okay, I get it.
right. Don't need to hit me over the head with your
Yes, yes. Hit me
deep
over the head with a damn champagne bottle.
right. Okay,
All
so
right,
we'll keep
I
that at number
accept.
27. All right.
Yes.
And I guess we're back to you.
You're listening to American Top 40. I'm Casey Kasem. Number 26.
Woo! All right, I am going to pick at number 26 another episode from season 3. I'm going to go with Susie, Do You Copy? Episode 1, season 3. So, again, first episode.
Yeah.
It's much better than season 2, episode 1.
Yes.
We get some excitement in the mall. It's a new setting. Robin, hey Dingus, your children are here.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
the whole Scoops Ahoy of it. I mean, you gotta love the Scoops Ahoy.
oh yeah, for sure.
It's in our name, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, you know, I don't know, just an introductory one.
Yeah,
I don't
I mean,
watch it all that much.
I did like the intro scene with the Russian machine malfunctioning and that whole bit, and that was kind of
Oh,
fun
yeah.
to get us going, and it was a much
Yeah.
better cold open than season 2 opening with Callie in Pittsburgh and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But we also get the whole Mike and Elle dating of it, which is just it's fine. It's just kind of clunky.
Yeah.
I did enjoy all the Dustin stuff with him coming home from camp and the toys coming to life and all that kind of stuff.
That was cute.
And then it's just we just launch right into the rats and the rat goo. So this is the one where the rats are all going to the Brimborn Steelworks and they
Yeah.
blown up, and then Billy's going off to get Karen in a hotel room pool and all that kind of stuff. So I had this one a little higher.
Oh yeah, the seduction of Karen Wheeler.
I had this one at 21. You had it at 32. We're at 26. So I mean, I think we're kind of meeting right in the middle, and
That's perfect.
I'm perfectly good with that. So we will do that, and I will knock that off the old draft board. All
Yeah,
right.
I didn't think too highly of it either because the sort of the driving conflict of the whole thing is Billy getting, I don't know, pseudo possessed at the end.
Right.
But you still don't even understand what's going on. So,
Yeah.
it's sort of like, I don't know. It's just like they got it right in season 4. Just
Yeah.
snap a young girl's limbs in the ceiling and that'll get everyone's attention.
Now we're good. Now we know what we're doing. Yeah. Start with a massacre in a lab, end with a young cheerleader
There we
getting her
go.
arms, and then everything's fine.
Yes.
So, all right.
Number 25.
Okay. My number 25 is going to actually be what was my number 27, but we've crossed some of my lower ones already off on other ones. So, and this is season 4, chapter 2, Vecna's Curse. So again, we're right back at the start of the season. So this is the Fred getting snapped episode essentially. So,
Yeah.
and it's the face schmack in the Rinkomania. Schmack. So Hopper gets tortured in Russia, which is just always, some of my favorite stuff. Mike and Murray both wind up in California, and then end up calling Enzo in the whole phone booth conversation. Robin, Dustin, and Max are all out searching for Eddie. And then Nancy takes Fred to get to the trailer park, and he gets snapped by Vecna, and the gang finally does meet up with Eddie at Reefer Rick's. So again, there are some cute moments in this. I love the nostalgia of the Rinkomania, but I was not at all a fan of the whole the bullying is just,
Oh, it's unwatchable.
yeah, it's, PTSD with, milkshakes and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's just not fun to watch.
No.
And as much as I love Fred, I mean, we had him on the podcast to interview him. So, I mean, love the guy, love the character, but it was just kind of, it was certainly not as resonating or as impactful as Chrissy's death was. And we had just seen Chrissy's death the prior episode, and it was just, it's like, okay, yeah. I mean, it seems
another
like
one.
Seems like a nice little, nerdy little dude, and I feel bad for him, but was certainly not the impact that Chrissy's death had. So,
yeah, that was I think one of the misses in the writing was sort of not giving. They like sort of force fed Fred's backstory with trauma, something about a hit and run accident, and it's just like,
right.
I feel like they, the Chrissy one was more relatable because she was dealing with issues that are typical of a teenager, right?
Right.
And Fred's was just like, oh yeah, he happened to kill a guy by accident.
Right.
It's like, what?
Yeah. Okay, sure, why not? So, all right.
We do have the video store in this one, though. I like that.
Yes, I do. The whole bit when they were looking at Reefer Rick and Robin and Dustin were doing all that. That was really fun. Yeah. Okay.
Now on with the countdown. Number 24.
Okay.
Oh, number 24. Let's see.
I mean, we both actually picked the same number 25. So, I mean, you do have one lower, but
Oh, yeah. Right.
Just say it however you want to do this.
No, we're gonna keep pooping on season 2. I'm going with Will the Wise, season 2, episode 4. This is just all early season 2 stuff, and man, season 2 really ramps at the end. But hang on, let me get my bearings here.
Yeah. So this is the one where Joyce takes Will back home, and then Elle has her little. I called it a psychic tantrum at the time.
Oh, sure.
Right.
Yes. Yep. Oh, yeah. Nancy and Jonathan go to the park on their little espionage mission.
Right.
Everything's fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Dart eats Muse in this one. That's kind of fun.
That's always enjoyable to see,
I did like that.
Cat carcass. Sure. Why not? Yeah.
You ate my cat.
Oh
my God, Dustin, he's terrible. He tricks his poor mother. It sends her across the county to find the cat.
Yeah, so you can bury the carcass in the backyard.
Right. How do you get away with these things?
Yeah, no, I agree with you on this. I had this one at number 24. You had it at 26, and we're putting it at 24. So that's perfectly fine with me.
Nifty.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about season 2, because I remember liking season 2. It's just but it is kind of bizarre that we're blowing right through all of our season 2s so far.
I mean, I like season. I don't know.
Yeah. Again, I mean, we're not saying these are terrible. I mean, they're just not as fun or interesting or as good as other later episodes. And I don't know.
I blame Mike. He's such a downer.
Right?
He just sucks all the energy out of that first half, right?
He does. Right.
Yeah, I feel bad for him though. He's lost his lady.
I mean, I'm trying to think. A lot of it might have been to kind of the Will storyline with him being, possessed by the mind flayer, shadow
Well,
monster, whatever you want to call it.
there's like a sadistic quality to season 2 where you're just like, holy, how much is this boy gonna go through?
Right? Yeah. Yeah. It's
It's
a
like,
little
hey,
crazy.
hey,
So,
hey. Give him a break.
right. All right. So we got 3 left. So let's see where we are.
The hits from coast to coast. American Top 40.
All right. Number 23. Let's see. Oh, well, this will be easy because I just said we both have this one at number 25. So we'll just make it 23 because it's both of our lowest ranking ones that are left, and we're actually back to season 4.
Here we go.
And yeah, so this is season 4, episode 3, The Monster and the Superhero. So this is the bit where Sullivan goes out to Nevada and lands at Owens's place and starts ransacking it. The Cali crew is kind of bathing in the glow of the day after, or the night of, I guess, the schmack at the Rinkomania. They're eating Murray's risotto. Jason is out with his goons hunting for Eddie. Elle gets arrested in this episode, obviously, and it's the scene where she's in the back of the police van. And then Owen's team kind of pulls the van over and saves Elle. This is also where Murray and Joyce fly to Alaska. So there is that kind of fun, nostalgic scene where they're on the plane and there's people smoking and they're reading the magazines.
Yeah.
There's like cigarette ads on the back of the magazine. So I remember there's a lot of kind of 80s nostalgia
Ashtrays at the ready.
in that one. And then I also really did like the diner scene between Owens and Elle at the end, which a lot of that was obviously used in the trailer for the season. And this is also where Max starts seeing the ticking clock in the school hall.
Yeah.
So we kind of know her days are numbered. So yeah, Monster and the Superhero come in at number 23 for us.
Yeah, I liked the parts with the with the kids sort of, that's when they start sort of banding together and they're sort of on a mission. They break into the school.
Yep.
And then this is where they go to the counselor's house too. Let's take her keys, right?
Right. Yes. Yep. So
Damn meddling kids.
all right, moving on. We got 2 left.
Number 22.
Left. Oh boy.
Yeah, right.
Oh wow. Wow. Okay, now it's getting less easy now.
Yep.
Very quickly. I am, you know what? I had the monster pegged for here.
Yep.
But
It's not season 2, so that's good.
well, that's true. After I think I slotted that one in this range, when I was getting a little list fatigue, like what happened
Yeah.
to that monster?
Yeah.
And I forgot that the quarry scene is at the end of that, which is, I
Right.
mean, so I can't do that one. So
Yeah, that is actually, I actually had it bumped up a little bit just because of that scene, honestly.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna go with another one from season 1 then, episode 5, the flea and the acrobat. So in this one,
Yeah, I
we
can
have
get behind that. That was actually one of the ones that we didn't have together in the bottom 14. You had it at 23. I had it at 19, but our cutoff was 21, so that's why it wasn't
close
it
enough,
was,
right?
yeah, it was only 4 away from you. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I can
Yeah,
get
this
behind.
one's not all that exciting. They go to the funeral. There's some funny stuff there.
Yeah.
But and I like them talking to Mr. Clark. Hopper's going crazy looking for the bug in his house, and we're getting on the train tracks. This is where they all get into the conflict too,
Yeah.
and they go their separate ways before they reunite in the future.
Yeah.
And then it was cool at the end where this is where Nancy and Jonathan are in the woods, and for some reason Nancy decides she's going to go into the gate,
Yeah.
like a very stupid white person in a horror movie. Although I did find it entertaining.
Right. Okay. So that brings us up
Hey,
to, oh no, wait, listen, go ahead.
let
Yeah.
me throw something in here. I don't think I ever mentioned this on the podcast. The first time I watched Stranger Things, like
Yeah.
season one,
Yeah.
um, I didn't get around to watching it until season two was just about to come out. So I was playing catch up after, the word had spread. But
Yeah.
I sat down to watch it at the time with my wife, and we had a pretty bootleg TV, and we had no idea how dark the TV was
Mm-hmm.
as far as, the brightness,
Right.
brightness contrast type stuff. So we're
Yep.
watching this thing and we're like, both like, man, I can't see anything. And what was interesting was that it actually kind of made it a little creepier because all the shots with the Demogorgon in early episodes were very, it was very dark, and we're like, oh my
Right.
God, what is that? What is that? Right. Um, After we discovered it, our brightness was so low, I went back and I'm like, oh my God, they showed tons of this monster. I had no idea. Right. But
Well, I
anywho's,
mean, yeah, the whole back half of this episode is Nancy and Jonathan wandering through the woods and
this was the
yeah,
scene where I was just like, something's wrong. And
right.
I'm like, oh, you can turn the brightness up.
Right.
Wow, we can actually see it, right? Because Nancy crawled through the trees, and we're like, what is
Right.
happening?
Yeah. I
All right,
remember
sorry for that tangent.
no, but I remember too when Whitney and I were talking about this when it aired, we were talking about Charlie's British accent
Oh,
because
sure, yes.
yeah, and because he's going Nancy, you can kind of hear it a little bit. He's like it's just a little
Yes.
bit Nancy. It's a
I
little
do
bit
remember
off. It's just
hearing
kind of
hearing
yeah,
that for the first time. I definitely said
yeah.
this is a little off, and then I believe I caught an interview with I forgot the guy's name.
Charlie Heaton.
Charlie, yes,
Yeah,
and he was explaining that he in the interview he was saying that the one word that I've struggled with is yelling Nancy.
right.
And
Yeah,
he's like, you could hear it, and then
Nancy.
now you can't
Yeah,
ignore it at all.
yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Number 21.
Okay, now how do I play this?
Oh baby,
I'm really
insider
curious. I want to.
knowledge.
I'm not going to go that route because I could, but I'm gonna have to rethink it because my ranking of this episode and your ranking of this episode are 17 places apart.
Yeah, it's
So
significant.
I'm gonna rethink that one. So we're gonna skip it.
Oh, you're so kind.
I am, and we'll talk about it in the next episode. But in
Sure.
the meantime, for this one, and I think we'll probably just agree because we're both one off on this one. Um, and that is back to season 3, episode 5 with the flayed.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the one where I actually had this one a lot lower when I originally did it, and I didn't really even follow my own rule because I love the 7-Eleven scene so much with the Todd father.
Oh yeah,
Um, I don't really like much anything else that happens in this episode except for the 7-Eleven scene, so I bumped it up a little bit. I
that
think
is
I
a
had
very
it.
good scene.
I think I had it in the kind of the low, like the high 20s, 28, 29 or something like that.
Hmm.
And then I made it crept up to 22 just because of the 7-Eleven, and we'll have it at 21. So this is Hopper and Joyce taking Alexi hostage from the Hess farm. And so it's the whole shootout with motorcycle
Hmm.
helmet guy. They go to the 7-Eleven, the whole bit with the beef jerky and all that kind of stuff, and the Todd father and going off in the car. The Scoops troop finally makes it down in the elevator down to the Russian base. Jonathan and Nancy team up with the gang and just do a whole lot of wandering around aimlessly. They go to the Holloway house and then they end up at the hospital. But it culminates in obviously the scene with Tom and Bruce, who melt into goo, and then you have the episode ends with
Yeah,
the monster in the hallway. Um, so yeah, it's just kind of it's kind of a disjointed episode, and I know it's really hard to keep it jointed because you have all these disparate
Sure.
storylines that are going on at once.
Yeah.
But this one felt, especially the tone just bounced around so much. It was, I mean, you think about at the beginning when they're at the Hess farm and Hopper's got the gun, and then it gets a little bit zany because, they're tossing the gun back and forth, and then he's shooting at him and they run away. And then there's kind of the fun little scene with, the 7-Eleven, and then the Scoops Troop is doing their thing and they're in an elevator. And so they're kind of like Indiana Jones actiony kind of stuff. And then Jonathan and Nancy and that whole gang are just literally wandering around aimlessly, going to the Holloway house, seeing a refrigerator pushed over on its side, and like, okay, and now let's go to the hospital. And then all of a sudden, monster goo forms, and Jonathan and Nancy get tossed around. And actually, that's in the next episode. But I mean, It's still, I mean, the whole thing with Tom and no, it is that episode, Tom and Bruce and chucking them around the hotel. So it's just the tone and the everything is just kind of all over the place. So. Not really a big fan of this episode. There are like I said, nice moments in it because of the 7-Eleven and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, I think we're good putting that right at 21. So
I
do
concur.
That. And
it's
then
a good ending. And certainly, that the goo monster is pretty horrifying. That got my attention. I remember like, oh boy, all right, we're turning it up a notch here.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Not just a amorphous cloud.
Right.
But something that is right in front of us and about to eat us.
All right, so let me see where we wound up here. Let me put this together. So 21 to 34. Okay, well, starting at the bottom, Lost Sister is number 34, and then getting better. Mallrats, Mad Max, Pollywog, Trick or Treat Freak from season 2. Dig Dug from season 2, Nina Project from season 4, Case of the Missing Lifeguard from season 3, Susie Do You Copy from season 3, Vecna's Curse from season 4, Will the Wise from season 2, Monster and the Superhero from season 4, Flea and the Acrobat from season 1, The Flayed from season 3, and that is the bottom 14. So there we go. Yeah. And next go round, we will talk about the episode that has us on opposite ends of the countdown, right? We're just gonna see who bends first, I guess. So
I think so. I'm prepared. I have a dissertation ready to go. I love that episode.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll actually
Colin.
watch it again because I'm going from memory. I haven't watched it in a good couple of several plus months, maybe a year or so.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, hang on. Let's tell the listeners, where did you have it? And I
had it at number 23. You had it at number 6.
6.
Yeah.
Woo!
So I had it in my bottom 14. You had it in your top 5. So we won't say what it is, but we'll talk about it in the next episode. But we do actually have a couple of emails to get through, so let's do those.
Cool. Emails. Hey, what are those?
Yeah, right. First one is from Ellie in Greece. Hey, Colin and Doug, how are you? I'm doing well, although term test period is starting again here, and I got biology on Tuesday and ancient Greek on Wednesday. I mean, how much did I miss like catching up with our littles and their schoolwork and the plays they're doing and homework and term? I love doing that stuff. So anyway, Ellie says it's annoying, but what
your emails about random things, right?
Exactly. Other than that, Apokius has come and gone again. Happy 2 years of knowing that word, Colin. You never have to use it. It was a very fun event. Okay, on to the list of worst Stranger Things episodes according to me. Warning, she says. The entire list, part of which follows, was composed at 9 p.m. on a very busy Saturday, so please forgive any controversial opinions. I probably won't remember the episodes very well. Of course, all the episodes are amazing, and this list is completely for entertainment purposes alone. Also, the list was compiled as, how likely am I to choose to rewatch this episode on a random evening? So
I like that criteria.
Right? Her list is number 34, Lost Sister, number 33, The Monster, which we haven't talked about yet, number 32, The Body, which we also haven't talked about yet, number 31, Susie Do You Copy, which we had at 26, number 30, The Gate, which I had
Ellie.
Very high. We both had it very high.
Very high.
Very
Come
high.
on, Ellie. The snowball.
Right?
Ellie isn't old enough to be just swayed by massive nostalgia. That's
Right. That's all it is, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Number 29, she had Vecna's Curse. We had it at 25.
yeah.
Monster and the Superhero at 28. We had it at 23. Trick or Treat Freak. Yeah, see now she's back now she's back where she needs to be. We had it at 30. She had it at 27. Will the Wise at 26. We had it at 24. Mad Max at 25. We had it at 32. The Mind Flayer at 24. We haven't talked about that one yet, I don't think.
No.
Nope. Vanishing of Will Byers, the very first episode we haven't talked about yet. She had that at number 23. Case of the Missing Lifeguard, we had at 27. She had at 22. And then the Upside Down at number 21. So
The Upside Down. My.
that. Yeah, we had that one up higher too, I think, right? Yeah, we both had
Oh
that.
yeah, we didn't get to that one yet. That's up there for me.
Okay, that's it, she says. Bye from LAPS. I don't know why I love it so much, but how cool is it that season 1, episode 8 was called The Upside Down, and the last episode of the entire series is going to be called The Bright Side Up. Yes, that is very cool. I love
I think it is
kind of love. I mean, it'd be better if the very first episode was The Upside Down and the last episode was The Right Side Up. But I get what she's saying, and it's close enough, and I like it. So
close enough.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for Ellie. Thank you very much for emailing in. Great to hear from you again.
All right, next one is from Amy G. Hi, Scoopers. It's Amy G in Illinois. I'm having the hardest time admitting least favorite episodes. A student taught 8th grade creative writing for a semester in college. As a rule, I find it so difficult to criticize someone's craft because my ultimate goal is for them to open up and write from the heart. All of your thoughts and words have value, little scoopers. That said, my loyalty to you Scoops Ahoy hosts overpowers this hesitation. And as mentioned before, I find comfort in rules, so I will follow them. Here are my 3 least favorite chapters. Least favorite.
Right.
Drum roll.
Oh,
I'm joking. The Lost Sister. Oh, excuse me.
The Lost
Lost Sister. The Lost Sister. In my house, she says, we shan't speak of that episode again.
Right. If Whitney were here.
Oh. Second least favorite, The Case of the Missing Lifeguard.
Yep.
The workplace bullying of Nancy is uncomfortable to watch. Yeah, that sucks.
Yep.
I look away when Miss Driscoll is inhaling fertilizer. The amount of time spent on the Holloway house is off balance for the rest of the season. Nice job, Collin. Look at you. Neither Miss Driscoll nor Heather's mom should have that much screen time. Give me more Karen.
Right.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Totally. All right. And Amy G's third least favorite, The Flayed. This is tough because it's also a favorite. I can't tolerate this episode because of the flashing lights for the extended period of time. I agree. That bothers me.
Yeah, totally.
I have to fast forward for 5 minutes to prevent a migraine.
Yeah, and it's like it's not even. I don't even know if it was like consistent flashing, but it's like Twin Peaks flashing. It's like the stupid broken fluorescent light flashing. So it's like
It's off rhythm.
Yeah, it's weird.
Not a strobe.
No.
No, it's
yeah. It is painful.
All right. Also, unless you went to see a newborn baby, chances are the last visit you took to see someone in the hospital was scary, sad, or unsettling. Long hospital scenes really take me out of the fun of my favorite show about adventure, friendship, and freaky blobs of evil.
There you go.
Until next time, my dudes, Amy G.
Thank you, Ames. Glad to hear from you.
I do like the scene in the hospital lobby where Mike's trying to smooth things over. Was he offer her like an M&M or something like that?
The whole candy machine with all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
He should have chosen Reese's Pieces.
Exactly, right? They are. And nostalgic. Everything all together. Okay, I think that does it for us. We will be back on April 3rd with our ranking of the most episodes, the average, the middle, the amorphous mind flayer goo of episodes 11 to 20. They weren't great, they weren't terrible, they're just kind of right in the middle.
Top 10 leftovers. There's
right.
going to be lots of good
Right.
ones.
Yeah, they will be. So those will be
Maybe our
11.
attitude will improve a little. I feel like this was our most negative podcast
Right.
ever.
Yeah, it is. Right. Well, you
Except
didn't have to host the Lost Sister episode that Whitney and I
Aha.
had to spend 45 minutes talking about the Lost Sister in and of itself.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So yes, those will be episodes 11 to 20, and then we will be revealing our top 10 episodes and unveiling the whole list on our May 1st episode. But first, let's do the 11 to 20 of the April 3rd episode. So get your emails to us, whatever you want to do. Again, Amy and Ellie both you can do all 11 to 20. You can do a couple, or you can give us your bottom 3 or 4 late, whatever you want to do. So emails
or
by
tell
Sunday.
us our picks are terrible too.
Yeah. Refute
I
us.
like pushback.
Yep. Emails by Sunday, March 30th for that new episode on Thursday, April 3rd.
Cool. And remember, if you want to get in touch with the show, email scoopsahoypod@gmail.com and check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Discord. And please remember to leave a rating, or better yet, a review on iTunes. Thank you for listening, and I hope you guys tune in next time. Thank you. Bye.
Stranger Things audio clips and official score are the property of Netflix. Incidental music by Blue Mount Score from Pixabay.